So, President Trump just dropped a huge announcement that could change everything for seniors on Social Security. This one is big. We're talking about an executive order that will send out $1,700 checks to seniors, confirmed and coming soon. Now, I want to break down exactly what was announced, what it means for you, and how it ties into other updates about Social Security. There's a lot happening, including changes the Social Security Administration had lined up for later this year that they're now pulling back on, plus fresh updates about cost of living adjustments, retirement ages, and even a big push from advocacy groups for additional relief. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to expect moving into 2026. But hey, before we get too deep into it, if you find these Social Security updates helpful, do me a favor. Tap that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the latest news. Let's start with the SSA's back and forth over paper checks. Remember how they had originally set October 31st, 2025 as the date when all payments would move over to electronic direct deposit only? Basically, that was supposed to be the final deadline, no more paper checks, all digital from that point forward. Well, as of last week, they're walking that back. On Wednesday, officials told CNBC and other outlets that they'll continue issuing paper checks for beneficiaries who simply don't have any other way to get their payments. That applies to both retirement and disability benefits. At the same time, they're doubling down on encouraging people to switch to direct deposit, pointing out the advantages of electronic transfers, faster payments, more security, and less chance of lost checks. But bottom line, if you've been depending on paper checks, you're still going to get them past October. They realized that not everyone has access to reliable banking or technology, so yes, that's confirmed. This isn't a proposal waiting around in Congress. It's an executive action, and Trump made it clear that checks will start going out before the end of the year. His words were, "We are delivering real relief directly to our seniors who built this country, and we will continue to protect and strengthen Social Security for every American." So let's pause here. This $1,700 check is a one-time payment. It's not a permanent increase to monthly benefits, and it's not an ongoing supplement. Think of it more like a stimulus targeted specifically at Social Security recipients. The timing is intentional, too. Social Security just celebrated its 90th anniversary last month on August 14th, 2025, and Trump has been using that milestone to underscore his commitment to the program. He even signed a proclamation on that day saying he recommits to defending Social Security and rewarding seniors for their contributions to the country. This executive order feels like an extension of that promise. But some folks are already debating, should Trump have gone further? The $1,700 check is definitely helpful, but there are bills sitting in Congress right now that propose permanent benefit increases, larger COLAs, or even an extra $200 a month for seniors. That would be longer-term relief instead of just a one-time boost. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the focus be on one-time payments, or should leaders push harder for permanent increases to Social Security checks? Now, about that tax deduction plan that Trump mentioned earlier this year, the so-called $6,000 senior boost. He's still pushing that idea forward. The plan is to allow a $6,000 deduction on Social Security benefits, effectively making them tax-free for many seniors. It's not a total elimination of taxes on Social Security, but it's close. And when combined with the $1,700 executive order payment, it looks like Trump is trying to cover both short-term and long-term relief. Short-term with the direct checks, long-term with tax breaks. Speaking of short-term relief, remember how advocacy groups like the Senior Citizens League had been lobbying Congress for a $400 one-time payment? That idea had been floating around since 2024, pitched as a catch-up payment to help seniors deal with years of small COLAs that didn't keep up with inflation. Well, now the $700 executive order payment basically overshadows that. Trump went even bigger than what the advocacy groups were asking for. It's not tied to a specific bill, but it achieves the same goal, extra cash directly in the hands of seniors who need it. Now, let's take a step back and talk about how Social Security actually works and what else is changing in 2025 and 2026. This came up on the Today Show just last week, and it's worth revisiting. For anyone not totally clear on it, Social Security is a guaranteed income stream that provides financial protection for retirees, survivors, and people with disabilities. It's funded by payroll taxes. You pay into it during your working years, and then you get benefits when you retire or if you qualify under disability or survivor rules. The key thing to know is your full retirement age, which depends on when you were born. For most people right now, it's between 66 and 67. You can take benefits as early as age 62, but they'll be reduced. Or you can delay until age 70 and get the maximum benefit. Timing matters a lot because taking benefits early could cut your check by as much as 30%, while waiting until 70 could increase it significantly. For example, someone eligible for $2,000 a month at 67 might only get $1, 400 at 62, but nearly $2, 500 if they wait until 70. Another thing that always comes up is COLA, the cost of living adjustment. This year, the COLA was 3.2%, and early projections suggest next year's COLA for 2026 could be higher, possibly around 3.6%, depending on inflation data. That's good news because it means monthly checks will get a little bump. But as we all know, COLAs often lag behind actual increases in rent, utilities, food, and medical costs. That's part of the reason why these one-time payments like the $1 700 check are so important. They fill in the gaps that COLAs leave behind. Of course, the big looming question is always, will Social Security run out? The latest report from the Social Security Board of Trustees, released earlier this summer, said that combined trust funds could be depleted by 2034. That means if Congress doesn't make any changes, benefits would drop to about 77% of what they are now starting in 2034. But, and this is important, that doesn't mean Social Security disappears. It just means reduced payments unless lawmakers step in. Trump and other leaders are making promises that Social Security will be protected, but the math is pretty clear. Some kind of reform will be needed within the next decade. So what can you do in the meantime to maximize your benefits? First, know your full retirement age and make a plan about whether to take benefits early, wait, or go all the way to 70. Second, check your earnings record on the Social Security website. Errors happen, and your benefits are calculated based on your lifetime earnings, so you want to make sure your record is accurate. Third, if you're still working, especially if you're over 50, take advantage of catch-up contributions to your 401k or IRA. That way you're building up extra retirement savings to supplement Social Security. Now let's circle back to Trump's $1 700 checks, because that's the headline. The rollout is expected to begin in November 2025, with most checks arriving before the end of December. Seniors won't need to apply. The payments will go out automatically to people receiving Social Security retirement or disability benefits. Treasury will use the same direct deposit or paper check information already on file. So, if you usually get your benefits by direct deposit, expect the $1 700 to show up that way. If you get paper checks, you'll receive it that way too. The reaction has been mixed. Many seniors are thrilled, saying this is exactly the kind of relief they needed. Others are skeptical, asking whether a one-time check really addresses the bigger issue of rising costs. Some economists point out that while the payment helps in the short term, it doesn't solve the long-term sustainability challenges Social Security faces. Still, for someone struggling to cover bills right now, $1 700 could make a big difference. Trump has already hinted that this might not be the last action he takes on Social Security. In his remarks, he suggested that additional relief could be on the table if inflation continues into 2026. That's something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on. For now, the focus is on getting those $1 700 checks out quickly and making sure every eligible senior receives theirs. So, what do you think about all of this? Do you feel like the $1 700 check is enough? Should Trump push for permanent increases instead of one-time payments? And how do you feel about the SSA backing off its plan to eliminate paper checks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you think about these changes. That's the update for today. A lot going on. SSA delaying its switch to electronic-only payments. Trump's executive order guaranteeing $1, 700 checks for seniors. Ongoing discussions about tax deductions on Social Security benefits. And the latest info about COLAs and retirement planning. As always, I'll keep you posted as soon as new details come in. Until then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next Social Security update. Thanks for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.